Hey everybody, this is Dear Gaia, and I'm here to talk to you about Destiny 2 and the development update Bungie released for January 11th, 2018. There's a lot in this update. This is actually my third stab at this, and the fastest I've done it is 28 minutes. So buckle up, sit down. If you haven't read it yet, the link is in the description. Please do go read it because I'm going to kind of fly through it. All right. I said it's a long one. Spent a lot of time on this, so please, here's my information. Like, follow, subscribe. I'm a YouTuber. I have to beg for your adoration, so please forgive me, and let's get to it. The Destiny 2 development update. They start off with a message from Christopher Barrett. Actually, the whole thing is a message from Christopher Barrett, the game director, saying this is his attempt to fulfill a promise of updating you on their plans and asking for you to bear in mind that they're making promises that are for things that are far enough out that they're still being changed. And they want you to try and remember that as you read this stuff, so that when it shows up on your console or on your desktop in 6 months or 9 months or whatever, if it's different, don't draw and quarter them, because they're still working on it. They're still improving some of this. All right. That's okay. We can give them that much. Let's get into what they're talking about. The first thing they want to focus in on is this chart they made for us, showing us the Destiny post-launch content. And what they're trying to avoid, this is about, they had a little debacle where people weren't getting access to content that they thought they should be getting access to. And this is about making clear to the community and also to themselves what players should be able to access as they move through various DLC with the game. Now, it's pretty self-explanatory. Purple stuff, you're buying. This stuff, everyone should be able to get. This silver stuff, you're going to be buying with microtransactions. So, the season stuff is pretty much the stuff that is normal for Destiny. Iron Banner, faction rallies, endgame playlists, which is trials so far in Destiny 2, seasonal events, the Dawning, Crimson Days, those things. New features and updates, more vault space, sandbox rebalancing, that kind of stuff. Expansions, new campaign missions, new strikes, new destinations, some of the rewards you get, new Crucible maps, again, that kind of a new destination, new gear. Okay? Everyone needs to buy Curse of Osiris to get the Curse of Osiris legendary guns or whatever. What's important is, as we move into the next section, there's less stuff in this silver tier. But let's go ahead and go into the next section, Eververse. The scales are tipped too far towards Tess at the moment. I made a video about this. It was my most popular Destiny content video. That video basically said Eververse was a problem. There were pages and pages and pages and pages on the forum of players saying, remove Eververse. Each one of those comments, each one of those topics, I should say, had hundreds of upvotes. Eververse is a big problem, but there's zero chance they can remove Eververse. So what they've done, here's the most important part. We'll give players more direct purchase options and make adjustments to bright engrams to allow players to get items they want more often. So when you want a thing, be it an emote or a shader or whatever, you're not going to put your money into the game and get a lottery ticket to see if you get what you want. You're going to be able to take your silver that you buy and go down and buy a shader for, maybe a stack of 10 shaders for 50 silver or something. I don't know. But the point is that they're going to be items that you can buy directly. And taking the gambling out of Eververse will improve things. The next part up here, shifting the balance of new content in favor of activity rewards over bright engrams. This includes adding ghosts, sparrows, and ships to achievement reward pools. This is how it should have been from the beginning. Ghosts, sparrows, and ships should be rewards from activities. In Destiny 1, I got ships from playing Crucible or playing Strikes. I got ghosts from certain activities, raids mostly, but also like the Court of Oryx and I can't remember the Court of Oryx wave-based thing that you got in Rise of Iron. Oh my gosh, I can't believe it. Archon's Forge, that's what it's called. That thing. There were things you did when you needed a thing. You need a ghost, go do this. Sparrows were in the first raids. I'm super glad that they're going to be all over the game now. Excellent. All right. In addition, specific changes for the Crimson Days event. The big one is this one, the second point. Players will earn double engrams at level up. 1 Crimson engram and 1 Illuminated engram. Illuminated engrams are the quote-unquote the bright engrams that you earn right now for leveling up. A Crimson engram is essentially the same thing as an Illuminated engram, but it's tilted towards Crimson Days event-specific rewards. Furthermore, each Crimson engram is weighted strongly to new rewards when decrypted until all new event items have been obtained. In other words, if you're playing the game, you should be able to get all the Crimson Days stuff. Okay, great. XP rates. This section is a bit of a cop-out. Basically, there was a big debacle about XP not being reported properly in the interface, and they were throttling, and it was all super sketch. They tried to fix it a couple times now, and they're not happy. We're not happy. They're still working on it. Okay, well, I'll let them play for time here. What choice do I really have? But right now, it's kind of a mess. All right. Now they're feature roadmaps. Masterwork, and this is time-based sort of. We got a January 30 update, a February sometime update, spring update, which is, probably around the time of the next DLC, Season 3, and a fall update, which would be, Season 4 time, whenever we would have like a Taken King style expansion in September-ish. The first group is the January 30 update. That includes Masterwork Armor. Masterwork Armor basically allows you to reduce incoming damage while your super is active, and that's going to be great. And so that's going to be part of the January update. And we're also going to get raid rewards reworked. That means that the raid rewards, you play the raid, you're going to get raid gear when you finish an encounter. That's the way it should have been from the beginning. So this is good. They're also adding raid-specific perks, and they're adding a raid-specific ghost. Furthermore, the raid vendor will also directly sell Leviathan and Eater of Worlds armor and weapons. So kind of like Shaxx, you'll be able to go to the Sweeper bot and buy armor and weapons. Okay, February update. Strike scoring and high score tracking. That's really the wrong top bullet point. The real big bullet point is that strike scoring is coming to Nightfall, and strike scoring is replacing the current time limit mechanic. Strike scoring is replacing time limits in Nightfall. This is huge. This is going to open up both levels of the Nightfall to a lot more players. For myself, in Destiny 1, I was a player who could solo the Nightfall, but I did it in a very methodical fashion. I found the places to hang out at long range, use scout rifles, sniper rifles, rocket launchers, and send my ammunition across the map to get myself through the Nightfall, as opposed to the current system, which forces me to push forward very quickly in order to complete the Nightfall. I can't carry a couple of people who can't finish Nightfalls on their own through the Prestige Nightfall or even the regular Nightfall under the current system. But with this change, I will be able to carry people. So this is going to make Nightfall a lot more fun for someone like me, and it's going to make it a lot more plausible for me to help other players achieve the highest levels of Destiny play. All right. There are also going to be rewards and high score lists and stuff like that. Okay, great. Mods 2.0. They're actually kind of vague about this, but they're reducing redundant mods. They're including more types of mods, and they are evaluating how mods play into the Bright Engram economy. Here, let me help you out. Bright Engrams, nothing from Tess ever should drop any mods, period. Problem solved, Bungie. If you've been watching, I'm helping. Just take mods out of everything you can get from Eververse and make them drop from other activities. Just add them to Crucible, add them to Strikes, add them to story missions and adventures. Quick play improvements. We're adjusting game mode rules to increase the pace of gameplay and power ammo acquisition in quick play. Okay, the second half of that, power ammo acquisition, they're going to make it so more power ammo shows up. Be that it spawns more often, or that they give it a drop radius, or there are more locations where it spawns. I don't know, but they're going to make more power ammo happen in quick play. That's good for quick play. Increase the pace of gameplay. Look, they just need to make Guardians faster. Not just in quick play, but period. Literally increase the speed of Guardians. If they do that, that would be a big help. There's so many ways to accomplish that, including just making them faster. Just increase that number. PC tower chat. Text chat to the tower for PC version of the game. Text chat's real important for PC versions of games of all sorts. So they mention it here, they mention it elsewhere. It's important. Exotic repetition reduction. Nobody wants to get the same stupid pants for their Guardian 3 times in a row. Nobody likes that. It shouldn't have not been in there before. It should have been assuredly random, and there should have been a check that said, hey, did the player just get this? Don't give it to them again. Fire team members on destination map. This is one of those changes that, it needed to be in the game, but at the same time, it's not going to get used a lot. So Destiny's in a bad shape, and I'm glad they're fixing this. But the reality is, if I'm in a fire team, I'm going to be in voice comms with my fire team members, and it's going to be faster for me, if I don't know where they are, to ask them. So my expectation is that this should be in the game. It really should be. But Destiny's in such a bad shape, I really wish they spent this development time on something else. Because I just foresee it being not used a lot. Okay, spring 2018. There's a lot coming in Season 3 Expansion 2. They're not talking about that. Okay, Crucible. We're going to get some kind of Crucible rank. There's two kinds. Valor, which is I play Crucible. And your Valor is going to increase. Winning helps you move up faster, but there are no loss penalties. Your Valor will always go up. And Glory. Glory is going to be more like a win percentage. As a matter of fact, they might as well just give you win percentage instead of Glory. And it's a progression rank that goes up when you win and down when you lose. Performance is how you move up. That's kind of cool that there's kind of two systems, and I can see how Valor might be useful for quick play and Glory might be more useful for competitive. Primo. It's not exactly what the community wants, but it is such a huge step that we have to take it and see how it works. Private matches. Should have been there when the game shipped. Glad it's coming, but really, it should have been there where the game shipped. It was in Destiny 1. They should have known to have it on day 1 for Destiny 2. 6v6. People like 6v6. It should have been there day 1. Mayhem as a weekly or as a monthly event. Sounds fantastic. We have Iron Banner as a weekly event, 1 week a month. If we have Faction Rally 1 week, and then we have Mayhem 1 week, and then we have perhaps a featured playlist 1 week. We have a PvP event every week, all month. That's excellent. Additional fixes. It's kind of vague. Security improvements, stuff like that. Quitting. They mentioned quitting. Ladies and gentlemen, they're going to mention down here playlist repetition reduction. Let me help you out. Supremacy. Take it out of the rotation. It just shouldn't show up, except as a special event list. People hate Supremacy. There's very few people who are like, "Oh, Supremacy's my jam, yo." It's like out of hundreds of people I play with Destiny 2 with, only one person is like, "I like Supremacy." It's very popular with those people, but the other 95 or so % of us just hate that game mode and just don't want to see it. That's why I quit. 2 games of Supremacy in a row, I quit. Sometimes I'd be playing, I get Control, I get Clash, I get Control, I get Clash. Oh, there's Supremacy. I quit. Supremacy. Take it out. The other stuff is weapon and armor balance passes for regular stuff, for exotic stuff. There's a seasonal reputation thing they're coming. They're talking about improving Iron Banner and faction rallies. Endgame player pursuits. I'll come back to that. Multi-emote. Multi-emote, they're talking about giving us 4 emote slots that we can equip emotes to. I think that is so low energy a solution. I think the radial emote is what people were hoping for. I think it's not an unreasonable thing to implement. It's an old technology. I've seen that in PS2 games. So why can't they implement it for Destiny and let us have a range of emotions? Imagine that. It's what it is. They're going to do what they're going to do. And this is a step in the right direction, even if it is only 10% of what the player population wants. Vault space. 50 extra player slots. Come on, guys. Just solve the problem for good. Just double it, call it a day. Exotic accessory tab. You will no longer need to spend vault space on exotic ships, sparrows, and ghosts. This implies that we will be able to store exotic ships, sparrows, and ghosts and recall them in some way when we want. That will be nice. It'll be fantastic to go in and pull these out. I bet you they're going to put some kind of cost on these legendary shards, or I don't know, some kind of cost. But you'll be able to recall them pretty cheaply on a regular basis. And these items don't have stats on them, so they'll be ready to use as soon as you get them out. PC Clan Chat. Again, this is great. Chat's important for the PC players. Let's make sure they get it. Heroic Strike changes. Modifiers for Heroic Strikes will get them played more. So, yay. Now, before I forget, what was it? Endgame player pursuits. The Heroic Strike list change, the changes to Nightfall, these are important. Endgame player pursuits really amount to giving us reasons to want to repeat the endgame content over and over again. And part of that is giving us rewards for that endgame content rather than hiding them all in Eververse. Part of it is giving us the ability to obtain mastery of that endgame content so that we can carry our friends who aren't as masterful through it. And part of it is making it fun to run through and curb stomp all those bad guys that used to curb stomp us. This is all about the player experience. We don't really need more content. I mean, I want more content, but that's not the central issue, not yet. All right. All the stuff in the fall 2018 section is just so vague that it's only good to know that they're working on it. There's only one I'm going to mention specifically, which is Masterwork Exotics. Right now, we have a situation. A lot of exotics just aren't that great. And so it's very hard to justify using Hardlight when instead I could be using Positive Outlook or Uriel's Gift, and generating orbs for my team. Hardlight's it's just not that good. Actually, Hardlight, the only time I really use it is when I'm leveling up my characters and I want to make sure I have a good auto rifle with all the elements. Hey, I'll just put my high-end auto rifles into my Hardlight and I got all 3 elements covered no matter what my content requires. That's how I use Hardlight. And giving me a Masterwork version of that lets me not disadvantage my team. All right, 22 minutes. It's the third pass at this. So I've been faster every time. 22 minutes. I'm going to take it. I want to thank you all for hanging out with me. There's a lot here. My thoughts, your thoughts, they're all just as valid. So please, if you've reached the end, you've heard everything I have to say, get at me in the comments. I really want to know what you're thinking. And I'm going to be listening because I'm going to make some follow-up videos focusing in on specific parts of this. And some of those will be at more appreciable lengths, 5-7 minutes. I'm aiming for those usually. Thank you for hanging out with me this long. Again, if you hung out this long, you're the real hero. And I will see you Starside, Guardians.